not only did I work 70, 80 hours a week, but I also was thinking about work constantly, day and night, within eventually I ran out of gas, ran out of steam, and I was so tired, and was so I couldn't function physically, and so I felt the need to recharge my batteries and recuperate my health. So I was introduced to meditation instead of yoga and all those other things for some reason. And so I started looking into meditation because I felt like meditation was a better practice than the yoga or the qigong or the tai chi, all those things. Far better, actually. Somehow that idea was stuck in my mind. So perhaps a lot of qigong masters and tai chi masters and the high-level monks. The monks practice chan, and the qigong masters and yoga, the yogi gurus, I was a lot more impressed with the monks because they seem to impersonate something, a certain kind of understanding that's more appealing to me personally than the comportment or the attitude of a guru, whether it's in yoga or martial art. And but I couldn't find any real good instructions on how to meditate. And I stumbled on my late master's, Chinese master Venerable Shenhua, and he wasn't around, but he read books on his meditation books. And there's no real instructions on how to meditate, except one very simple instruction. Cross your legs and bear the leg pains. That's it. So I did that in the absence of any real other instructions, because the more books I read, the more confusing instructions were. They contradicted each other. The one master says, you stick your hands out like this. The other master says, no, you're supposed to go like this. And another master says, you're supposed to go like this, and so on and so on. And the one thing that no one ever taught, except for my late master, is that to cross your legs and bear the leg pains. And I found that to be the most challenging instructions. Cross your legs and bear the leg pains. Yeah, someone is making grimaces. It is one of the hardest things, hardest instructions I received. So I did that for about 2 or 3 months. And I broke through the pain barrier. Within 2 or 3 months of practicing meditation, all I did was to cross my legs and endured my pain until it went away. So after 2 or 3 months of practice, I was able to sit for about an hour and a half, and the pain went away. Straight, that is, in full lotus. And one amazing thing happened. My health recovered. I felt better. I felt re-energized. And that's how I started meditating every single day ever since, for the last 20 years. And my health keeps on improving. And that's the nice thing about meditation. The more you become skilled in meditation, the healthier you'll become. Okay? So, and then after I conquered Mount Everest, what's next? Then, with the ability to sit longer and to endure the pain, you naturally will be able to do certain things, like help others, recover, help give strength to others. And your mind becomes naturally clearer. With the long sits, your mind becomes clearer. Your memory improves. And the one thing that I found fascinating is that you develop insights. You're able to see things. Your mind is a lot faster. You can dissect problems a lot better, quicker. And your solutions tend to be better than if you weren't meditating. Okay? So that's how I began a life of meditation practice, where it's so fascinating, so rewarding, because you gain more and more insights as you meditate. Okay, so it's a non-stop life of learning, of developing wisdom, as we call it in Chan. The objective of my teaching Chan to all of you is very clear. Number one, help you build concentration power. Okay, and with concentration power, you naturally will develop wisdom. It goes hand in hand. You cannot have real wisdom unless you have concentration power. Think of it as concentration power as the ability to penetrate, to see through the fog, so that you're clearer, your perceptions are clearer. All right? So you can recognize your problem more precisely and come up with a better approach to solve it. Okay? Any questions? So that's a fundamental practice of Chan. This is our approach to teaching Chan, is to, again, help you develop samadhi power. Okay? All right, and so I personally love to meditate because it gives me so many more insights every time. And that's why I welcome you to come to the temple, to us, and ask questions. For example, you read things about meditation, about things, and you have questions about, please feel free to bring them up. We can discuss it. It's a sharing process. I don't know everything. I'm eager to learn more. I give you a funny story. We Buddhists are known for, the Bodhi tree is our symbol of whatever, enlightenment, if you will. And in front of the temple, see the temples, they love to plant Bodhi trees. And our temple is very tiny, it has a small strip of dirt right there in front of the temple. So the previous nun planted a Bodhi tree right there. And so I don't know how many years ago, maybe several years ago. And recently we had some sewage pipe problem, so we had to fix it. It's a major issue for the temple. And so we had to cut down a tree because the roots of the tree, normally the roots are around 6 feet. They don't go lower than 6 feet, but the sewer pipe is 10 feet below ground. And somehow the sewer pipe is stuck. And so they had to dig it out, and they find out the roots reach all the way into the pipe and clog it up. Okay? And that's the one tree on this side. And next to it, about 10 feet away, there is a Bodhi tree. So we fixed that problem, so we had to cut down this tree. And people asked me to save the Bodhi tree. I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't save the Bodhi tree because I don't want the same problem to happen again. And so we had to cut down the Bodhi tree. And it turns out that we asked our neighbor, who's a gardener, to cut it down, to remove, well, somebody cut the top part, and then there's a stump left. So we asked our neighbor to remove the stump. He says, no problem. I charge you, I'll give you a good deal, $270 to remove the stump. I said, okay, that's cheap, trust me. I know. So he came in and he, this Caucasian gentleman, tall, in his 50s maybe, and he used a tool to dig it up by hand. This has this long metallic pole, and with the pointed pole, one end, the other end has like a lip like this. So he's using this to dig into the ground and dig into the stump and remove it by pieces and pieces. He worked on that yesterday. That's why, are there still buckets in front of the temple? Last night I came back, I saw like 12 buckets in front of the temple because he's still not done yet. For $270, that's a pretty good deal. But what's the point? The point here is that you cannot have a strong tree unless the root is very, very strong, very deep. It turns out the root of the Bodhi tree is humongous. On top is about this big, but downstairs is about this big. It spreads everywhere. It's considered to be a pest, according to my ex-gardener, a novice monk here. And that reminded me how important it is the fundamentals. Chan is about teaching you about the fundamentals, helping you develop fundamentals of being, of a way of life. Okay, so just like the root of that Bodhi tree, humongous root, he's still not done yet. Now I don't know how many bags of dirt we have to buy to fill up the holes, but it's very important to take care of your fundamentals. That's the basis of your well-being. Okay, your fundamentals, okay, is your mental health. Your mind has to become healthier. The healthy mind is the basis of a healthy body. All right? All right, any questions, comments? Great. Then we will talk about food. Because today, it turns out today that we have a crew that came in to do vegetarian BLTs. I assure you, it's something you can look forward to. It is very good. On Facebook, I recently put a last post I put is that, what is it? If you're principled, you should not be greedy. So I hope today that after this Chan session, that you enjoy the food, but you won't be horribly greedy because we are principled. We see Chan students are principled people. Okay? Yes, sir.
I have a question. Is better than meditation in group or is better than meditation alone?
Meditation, the question is, meditation, is it better to meditate in a group or is it better than meditate alone? That's a good question. What do you think? What is your experience? Yes?
Group.
A group. Why? Why is it better to meditate in a group, your experience?
You're in control. You don't get out that easily, and the environment and atmosphere give you support.
Okay, so you think number one you just mentioned is that there is you more discipline, right? You can't just get up, you can't just move about when you feel like, okay, because it's frowned upon. So it's called peer pressure, right? So you become more self-disciplined. That's true. You know, it turns out that when I was meditating by myself, I was sitting like this. As soon as I came to meditate with other people, I noticed my back was a lot straighter. Couldn't figure out why. Especially when back then when there are some ladies in the same room, my back was, I said, very nice. Okay, so number one is discipline, okay? You become more disciplined. Number two is that the gentleman mentioned support, right? Support. What kind of support are we talking about? Atmosphere. The environment actually is very true. You notice that the location, the place is important. The place where you meditate is very, very important. Okay. When you go to the temple, by the way, is a lot. The atmosphere, the air is a lot more quiet. Is a lot more peaceful and calm. It's more conducive to the stilling of your mind. Okay. That's why a lot of people. Savvy people, they would go to the temple and to meditate, and they make the drive. And for the uninitiated, they feel it's a waste of time. Actually, it's not. You save time because you go to a calmer environment much faster for your mind to calm down. Okay, so actually, you gain a lot. You need in meditation, you need to be able to calm your mind down. You need to see, you reach a state of calmness, of stillness of the mind. That's very important. Once you reach it, you can get back to it again. Okay? So it has two reasons. Again, discipline. Number two, support. All right? What else? Anyone else has any other ideas? Is it better alone or in a group? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. The food, absolutely. Not maybe, absolutely. Especially today. Today, I'm looking forward to lunch. I hope I will not be disappointed. Actually, I was up until 11 midnight last night, and I went back to the kitchen, and our chef, Chef Little John, is still up. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I just finished cooking, preparing for tomorrow's lunch. So we sat and talked until like 1 o'clock. But anyway, food, that's good. That's very good. So it's enjoyable. Actually, meditation turns out that when you do in a group, it's rather enjoyable because especially, I mentioned this, bring this to your attention, the people you meditate with make a difference. Okay? Because usually if you go to a place to meditate, you actually gain from drawing near the people who are better than you. Right? That's why you go to college, to university, because you learn from people who are better than you. All right? So that's another reason. What about the rest of you? What do you think? Is there a time where it's better to meditate by yourself?
people, and they're inspiring you, and they are showing you a good example when you learn aloud.
Yes, and you go to the temple. I know from insider knowledge, that is usually food at the temple is better. Going back to the food again. I remember I went to the Vietnamese temple in San Jose like 6 years ago to speak the Dharma, to explain sutras, explain Buddhist sutras. And there was one special assembly where the abbot allowed a group of Tibetan monks to come and collect money to help build their hospital in India. So I came. So a lot of people came as well. On the way out, I saw, on the way out, I saw this lady, a lady standing there in front of the temple and scrutinizing people who walked by. And she scrutinized me and said, "Excuse me." I said, "Yeah. Would you like some yogurt?" I said, "No." He said, "No, you want my yogurt." I said, "You sure?" "Yeah, you want my yogurt." So she gave me one container of yogurt. It's homemade yogurt, she said. So, we monks, this is like 2, 3 in the afternoon. We monks don't eat after afternoon typically. So I said, "Yeah, okay, okay, I try it." So and then 2 of my students were with me, so she gave them, each one of them, a yogurt bucket as well, a yogurt container as well. So they tasted it and they said, "Wow, this is the best yogurt I've ever had." And they said, "Master, it's not going to be very good tomorrow." So they ate mine as well. But so I never found out how good the yogurt was, but I was told it's the best yogurt there is. In a temple, what we do is it's very nice. It's a very nice environment. The people bring us the best of their food. So hopefully today you enjoy the best of the effort from the chef as well. I'm trying to pressure him, make sure we're not disappointed. All right, so, okay, what else? Yes?
In my experience, when I meditate alone, I feel more like sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel when I meditate in group, sometimes I'm just taking care of outside.
Taking care of what?
Outside, what happened outside.
Outside. Ah, okay. All right. You changed a lot though. I remember maybe a year ago, wasn't it? A year and a half ago, a year and 4 months ago. You were different. Now you meditate a lot more. I can see that you're a lot calmer, a lot more at peace with yourself. And that's what you mean by taking care outside. I talked to a man recently, an ex-Vietnamese officer, an officer in the Vietnamese Armed Forces, the South Vietnamese Armed Forces. And he was in jail. He was in the labor camp. And it's a very nasty environment, okay? And he said, I said, "Why, that must be tough for you." I said, "No, I was very happy." I said, "What?" I know most people who tell me, who related me the labor camp experiences, they said it's the most horrible thing because you sent there, because they send you there to punish you, to kill you slowly. Okay, you're going to die either of lack of nutrition, or hygiene, or desperation. So he said, "How come you're happy?" He said, I was very happy. And in fact, as a matter of fact, after I left the labor camp 4 years later, my mom said, "Thank God for the labor camp." And I asked her, how could you say that? She says, it's because of labor camp now, you're a much better son to me. Really? So I asked him, what's your secret? Surely it must be tough for you. And he says, of course it was tough for me. Initially, it was very tough because you had everything, you were in control, you do anything you wanted, and you go into an environment where you can't do anything, and they abuse you, and they watch you, and they scrutinize you, and they mistreat you. So I struggled initially, and they put me in isolation as well. And I found out that, so I said, well, so how could you be happy? I said, he found out that there's no point in fighting. He couldn't win, so he stopped fighting. I changed his life. He stopped fighting. That's his secret. Think about it. You are no longer fighting with your environment. That's why you're a lot more at peace. Why do you have to fight? He was in a position where there's no point in fighting because he could not win. We are different. We feel we can win, right? Especially you young and aspiring gentlemen who wants to conquer the world, right? And you find when you reach my age, can't be done, my friend. Right? So you stop fighting. And the Buddhist wisdom is you accord with conditions. Okay? You try your best under the circumstances and learn to be happy with it. That's called according with conditions. So he says, I was very happy. Actually, I was doing very well. And I liked myself better after I left the labor camp. Okay? So as you learn to you try your best under the circumstance, and that's all you can do, and learn to be happy with it. You know what he does now? His wife passed away last year. I just saw him recently. And I said, what? Your wife passed away? So what do you do? He says, yeah, after she passed away, now a lot more ladies came to him, and he's not interested. I said, why not? He says, I look at him and said, you must love your wife that much, huh? And his tears came to his eyes. He held back his tears. And he says, now he's happier by himself. Okay? So he meditates by himself. Going back to this gentleman's question, is it better to meditate by yourself or with a group? It depends. Depends where you are, who you are, and the circumstances. In general, my advice is to, when you first start out, meditate in a group on a regular basis. All right? Why is that? Because you need to learn. My attitude is learn from a knowledgeable person. All right? And like when you go to college, you want to go to the good colleges where you can learn, from the best minds. Okay, the same thing. You learn, you practice in a group because the idea is you find a good group where you practice, where you will be able to learn the right techniques, the right way to do, how to do it properly. All right, and once you understand, then you can meditate by yourself. Initially, I would not advise you to meditate by yourself because you don't quite know yet. Meditation is problem solving. For example, we asked you we are on one of the few places left that I know of that encourages you to do the hard way, the old-fashioned way. Cross your legs and bear the leg pains until it goes away. Okay? That's your root. That's a Bodhi root right there. If you are prepared to cross your legs and keep on bearing and bearing the discomfort and the pain more and more, eventually it goes away. That's the magic of it. You will prevail. You know, as of what's interesting about that is you can win. You learn how to prevail. Okay? And it's one of the hardest things. If you can do that, there's very few things left on this earth you can't do. Okay? If you can do that, if you prepare to sit there and endure it until it goes away, okay? It's called self-torture. To be honest with you, you're doing something that's nonsense. Okay? But if you're willing to do that, you're prepared to do that, and you are able to complete that project, that task. Imagine, after you're able to break through, okay? Imagine that someone like your husband comes and says something nasty to you. You think that hurts more than the leg pains you endure? No, it doesn't. It cannot. So, they can't hurt you anymore. You deal with the outside. That's what she means. That's the Spanish way of expressing the Chan state. All right? So, in general, it's not a good idea to practice by yourself. Until, if you ask me, until your Chan teacher tells you to go practice by yourself. This is our tradition. We, in a Chan school, where this originated from China, in the Chan school, we go to a place where you learn the techniques of meditation or Chan. And then we would travel to other places, to seek out the great Chan master's instructions. Okay? That's what we do. This is our Chan tradition. We go and we learn the fundamentals, and then we go and seek individual or specialized instructions from a great teacher. This is our tradition. All right? And usually we trust our teachers to know what's best for us, and therefore that includes he'll tell you when to go and practice by yourself. Okay? Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Any other question? Yes.
Yes. Renee here. She's new here, and she's been coming like twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to her, and then she asked me a question which I want to ask Master.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not there to answer her give her an answer, so Master can help. She would say that when you meditate, right, when you start to try to just think so much that to the point that you don't think anymore, you relax.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it that you try to force yourself to stop thinking for an hour and then relax thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Because we cannot really, our brain doesn't really stop thinking.
Right.
Even if you do the pain thing, your brain still manages to
Right. So,
But sometimes when we relax, actually, it's when we think the most.
right. So, what is the question?
No, my question is that is the correct meditation is that you force yourself to stop for thinking for like an hour or half an hour?
You force yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You force yourself. If you don't force yourself, I will force you. So, it's a good question. A good question. It's a natural process. It's a natural process where this is the Chan wisdom is that you sit long, you sit longer. That's all you do. Sit and sit longer. Let it take care of itself. That's all you have to do. You sit longer, and naturally your mind will settle. Just like water in a pond. If you know, that water in the pond naturally will settle down. All the silts and all the settlements will settle to the bottom of the pond in time. There's no two ways about it, okay? So it takes time. So the first thing you learn about meditation is you learn to be patient. It builds patience. Your mind, it thinks, it plans, it schemes, it analyzes, it worries, okay? That's why your head is full of thoughts, okay? And when you cross your legs, the exercise is to learn to what? Resist acting upon those thoughts. Is it clear? The thoughts are there. There's nothing you can do about it. But what you can do about it is you don't act upon them. Right now, there's nothing wrong with having thoughts. What's wrong is acting upon those thoughts when you don't need to. Just like a baby. You see the baby here? See? He acts upon his thoughts. Can he control himself? No, he can't. Because as soon as a thought crosses his mind, he moves. Sounds familiar? You think you're better than he? No, you're not. Because we're so conditioned to act upon our thoughts. We think about something, oh, let's go do it. Okay? So meditation is a process, is an exercise to help you develop the skills to not act upon your thoughts all the time. Isn't it fascinating? It's that simple. So what do? Sit. Just sit. Don't move. Okay? Don't get up. Okay? If it hurts, don't wiggle. Yeah, right. You wiggle all the time. That's a thought. You see? The wiggling is a thought. You're acting upon that thought again.
Yeah.
See, we're taking up our fundamentals. Don't act upon them. Don't have to act all the time. Right? So, if you don't act upon them physically, don't move, okay? Then your thoughts will die down a lot quicker. That's how you clear your head. You cannot clear your head unless you stop acting on your thoughts. He doesn't have to do that because his energy is endless. Okay? Just look at him. He has to act upon them because he goes crazy if he doesn't act upon them. He has so much chi, he has so much energy, he has to use it. Okay? And if you don't use the energy and you meditate, what happens to it? It packs in your bones, in your marrow, your bone marrow. It's stored there. That's your wealth. That's your savings. You know that the meditators, the bones are a lot harder. They're much harder than a typical bone. So when you get older, you don't have to worry about brittle bones or weak bones. They're very, very strong. Have you ever heard of a Chan master, meditating master with broken hip bones? Never. Unless it's a fake one. It strengthens your bone because all the energy, all the chi you're not utilizing, it packs inside your bones. Okay? Does it help? Does it answer your question? Any other questions? Feel free to ask questions, anything at all, okay? Because there's no stupid question, only stupid answers from me, okay? And in particular, if you, those of you who are more experienced, you start reading more books and are interested in reading more books or have read more books, you can bring up questions, things that you've read that bothers you or that you are not clear about, okay? Feel free. All right, anything else? Okay, yes, you have another question? Yes, absolutely. Yes, sir.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
the meditation is better lie down on my bed. I don't feel nothing.
You don't feel nothing?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I remember going to a place where they taught meditation, and there's a session called lying meditation. I'm sure some of the Vietnamese know about it. And not only do you lie down on the floor, okay, men and women lying down, and then there's a lady who sits there and sings lullabies for you, and you fall asleep. No, you don't fall asleep. Well, you're different than I am. No, it's true. I'm kidding. For most people, lying down is very comfortable, so they tend to fall asleep. Okay, but for others, they can meditate lying down. It's true. So it depends on each person. But if you practice meditation, the objective initially for you is to face the discomfort of the body and bear with it, learn to bear with it. Okay, that will develop the meditation skills a lot quicker than otherwise. Remember, meditation initially is to learn to be patient with your discomfort. Your discomfort, whether it's physical or whether it's mental. You see, you're uncomfortable with all these thoughts that arise, that urge you to do something about them. And you resist that. You say, no, I'm not doing anything. You can talk all you want. You can push me to do that, but I'm not going to do it until my meditation period is up. That's all you do. And it becomes more and more unbearable until it stops. That's when you regain control of your life. Because our life is, the nature of our existence is that we all, I stress the word all, we all feel compelled to pursue our thoughts, to act upon our thoughts. That's how we function. That's our makeup. Okay? And that's no control at all. We have no control of our lives. You're like that. All right? So, for example, we talk about good food and BLT sandwich. this morning. And the way we train ourselves, believe it or not, is we know it's good. It better be. And we talk about it, and we plan for it, and we eat it. And then we resist temptation to eat too much. I'm kidding. It's okay to indulge every now and then. Let's go have lunch if you have, unless you have any other questions. The more I talk about BLT sandwiches, the hungrier I become. You don't know that when I talk like this, they're panicking back there. There's so much pressure. Yes, sir.
Those the statues of the reclining Buddha,
Yes.
are they meant to mean anything
Um,
in respect to?
Yes, it is. It is a commemoration of he's about to enter nirvana. It's very unusual. He was to enter nirvana, so he would lie down like this and then die. Okay, entering nirvana is a very Buddhist, polite Buddhist term for dying. But these beings are different from us. They have a they do things differently. For the Buddha, when he decided to retreat and say, I have enough of all of you, he would lie down and die. Okay. For the Chan masters, most of them would sit and die. And there's a way to die when you sit like this, and you can figure it out to yourself eventually. Okay. And so it became a Chan trademark, where when you become a Chan master, you don't do it like the Buddha. You lie down and die like most of the monks. They do that. But for the Chan school, the Chan teachers, they would cross their legs and say, okay, goodbye, children, and they die, just like that. Okay. So the answer to your question is it's just how the Buddha died. And that, to us Buddhists, came to symbolize the fact that he's about to go to a good place. It's called nirvana. It's the highest form, one of the highest form of Buddhist attainment. All right? So when we have that personally, when I look at that statue, I look at it as an aspiration. This is an end point of our lives. And if you practice Chan, it's a reminder to me personally that what my life is about. What have I done? Have I done enough to be able, like for him to enter nirvana? He's done. He's accomplished. It's called mission accomplished for him. Okay? Never put on a banner that says mission accomplished. He knew that the job is done. It's time to go. He did everything he could. It's time to go. There's nothing more he could do. It's better to go. And that's wisdom. It's incredible wisdom. You know? So that's a symbol of wisdom for us, for me personally. Does it help? They have these, this is about the Chan practice will help you develop that kind of, that shall we call instinct? What Buddhist term is wisdom, where actually you know the right things to do. Okay? See how happy he is? Let's go have lunch, shall we? Okay, very good.